In this lesson, we are going to implement sidebar and search box in the header menu. What we're gonna do is to show a sidebar like this, and it shows a list of categories in the e-commerce website. Also, you can have a search box, and when you search for something, it redirects you to the search screen. We implement the search page in the next lesson. To get the source code of this lesson, go to the repository. In the comment section, find video 34, add sidebar and search box. Let's get to code. Here is the plan to add sidebar and search bar. Let us start by sidebar. Go to the app.js and define a state for sidebar is open. Const sidebar is open, set sidebar is open, equal to use state. The default value is false. Then find the first div and make the class name conditional. If sidebar is open, render this CSS class, otherwise duplicate it, render this and save to format your code. What we're gonna do is to add active container at the end of sidebar is open. So if it's open, apply active const. So we need to go to the index.css at the very end, sidebar, set class active cont. Margin left to 40 pixel. Let's add another class named active-nav and make the left to 0. Also, for the site container itself, I'm gonna set transition to 0.4 second. For the sidebar nav, set width to 240 pixel, height 100%, make position absolute, and make the left to minus 300 pixels, so it's gonna be hidden by default. Set background color to black and set transition to 0.5 second. The last class is here for the navbar dash brand and make the font bold. So for the sidebar, we have added these classes and it's time to go and use them in the app.js. Save the code here, go to the app.js, find the container. Right before the Amazon link, I'm gonna add a button. Here is the button. Import the button from React Bootstrap, scroll up. There shouldn't be ESM, get rid of it, this one. And scroll down, set variant to dark. For onClick, set sidebar is open to the logical not of sidebar is open. So if sidebar is open is true, it's gonna be false, otherwise it's gonna be true. So it's like a toggle button. And use the icon with the class name font awesome dash bar. It's gonna create a hamburger menu for us. Scroll down and after the header and before the main, I'm going to create a div, and this div is gonna show the sidebar. What is the class of it? Let's set the class name to this conditional rendering. If sidebar is open, apply active nav, and by setting this, margin left is gonna be 240 pixel. Margin left, the left is gonna be 0. By default, it's minus 300%, and by changing to 0, the sidebar is gonna be visible. The next class is sidebar. All styles here will be applied to this sidebar. Justify content between, flex wrap, and flex column. So the items here is gonna be aligned in one column. Here is the nav element. Set class name to flex column, text white with 100% and padding 2. The first nav item is categories. It's strong, it's bold, and use category.map to convert each category to a nav item. For the nav item, define key to the category to make it unique. We will define categories later. What would we show for each category? It's a link container and the address is /search ? category equal to the category And when user click on it, we close the sidebar. The text that user will see is the name of the category in a link. Save the code and let's go for categories variable. Scroll up, find the sidebar is open and define categories and set categories to use state. Define use effect, import it from React. And in the function for the use effect, what I'm gonna do is to define fetch categories function. It's an async function, and inside that we need to define a try catch body because we are sending AJAX request and we need to catch any error. If there is an error, use toast.error and use getError from utils to show the error message. Toast is coming from React Toastify. Press tab, press Ctrl space and tab to import toast from React Toastify. Let's go for the try part. And here, what I'm gonna do is to send an AJAX request. Ctrl space, Axios, press tab, and the API URL is /API/products/categories. The data here is the list of categories. We need to implement this API later. And after getting data from backend, we need to set it to the categories state hook. Let's call fetch categories, save the code, and then go to the product routes. We need to define a route for /category. After this, define a route for /category, and the responder is express async handler like this. Inside this API, I'm going to use product.find to get all products and only get the categories of the products by use distinct function to return unique categories, not duplicates, and put it inside the categories variable and send it back to the front end. Save the code and let's check the result. Open terminal, go to backend. Before running backend, go to the backend folder, open .env file, and here you can change your mongodb URL to the local one. So make this one Atlas and make this one mongodb URI. Save the code and go to the backend, npm start to connect to your local MongoDB. We are getting this error. Go to the product routes and import express async handler like this. There is no error and we are connected to the DB. Open another terminal, go to front end, npm start, and the React application will be started at this address. Awesome. Here I have hamburger menu. If I click on it, I can get all categories as animation. It shows list of all categories. If I click on it, it doesn't work because I didn't implement search screen. It's the topic of next lesson. Let's add search box as the last part of this lesson. Go to the components folder inside backend rc components, right click new file and set file name to searchbox.js. Type rfc, press tab to create a functional component for search box, and inside the search box create a form, get rid of div and create a form like this. Import the form from React Bootstrap, and for submit handler implement a function that prevent default and use navigate. If query exists, redirect user to the search and pass the query as a query string. Otherwise, redirect user to the search screen. What is query? Query is a state hook. Define it like this. Import the state, and navigate is coming from use navigate. Define this hook and import use navigate from React Router. Done. So what we do in the submit handler is to prevent refreshing the page and redirect user to the search page and pass the query that user entered in the input box. So we need to define an input box in the form. Let's go for it. Create input group, import it. Inside that, create a form control. For the form control, define type to string, name to queue, ID to queue, and when user change value inside this input box, update the query based on the new value. Make the placeholder to search products and area label and area described by, set it to search products and button search. Save the code to format your input box. Then define a button. The button is an icon, and the icon is coming from Font Awesome FA-search. Import button, press tab and edit ESM. Get rid of it. The variant is outline primary, type is submit, and ID is button search. So we connect this button to this form control using button search. Import input group from React Bootstrap and form control from React Bootstrap 2. We successfully implemented search box, and it's time to use it in the app.js. Go to app.js and find the nav.collapse. Scroll down. Here is nav.collapse, and right after nav.collapse, type search box, press tab to import it and close the tag. Save it. Make sure that you import it from the components/search box. Save the code and let's check the result. Here we have the search box. To change the color to orange, go to the index.css, find the button. For button primary, put a comma and add button outline primary. Save it, and here is the result. If I search for something and press enter, I will be redirected to search/query test. So I need to implement search screen for query and also for categories. That's the topic of next lesson. Let's review what we did in this lesson. We created a sidebar in the app.js and a search box component, and we used it in the app.js. Also in the product routes, we implemented an API to return all categories in the products. And that's it about this lesson. Until next lesson, bye-bye.